Hi, this is Rudy Jones of Palmetto State Baseball.com. I'm going to once again do a video scoreboard for the college baseball action in South Carolina on Saturday, February the 22nd. Let's get to it. We'll start with the NCAA Division I teams. Clemson won a couple of games in the Clemson Invitational. They rallied from behind to beat North Carolina A&T 12-7 in the opener. Then they also rallied in Game 2 to beat VCU 4-3. Tigers will play North Carolina A&T again tomorrow afternoon, and A&T will also play VCU at 10 o'clock on Sunday at Doug Kingsmore. Tristan McClatty had a great couple of games for the Tigers. He drove in 2 runs in each game. He stole 3 bases. He had 4 hits. Really looked well. Also, the Tigers finally got their first home run of the season. Luke Gaffney does the honors there. In South Carolina, Matthew Becker had another strong start, and Ethan Petrie hit his 46th career home run. That makes him the number 4 all-time home run hitter in Carolina history, as the Gamecocks beat Milwaukee 6-3. Gamecocks only had 6 hits, but they been getting some very good pitching. That happened to go the same way again. Coastal Carolina fell behind 5-0. Went up 8-5, then gave up 3 runs in the bottom of the bottom of the ninth to tie the score. Then they scored 2 in the 11th to beat Ohio State 10-8. So the Chanticleers are now 1-1 in that tournament, and they play NC State tomorrow. Tyler Hare hit a walk-off home run in the 9th inning to give Wofford a 2-1 win over Army. Second straight walk-off win for the Terriers against the Cadets. Also, Max Kaplan, only his second career college start. He struck out 13 batters, allowed 2 hits, no earned runs, and in a 6-1 win over Lemoyne. I think I mentioned he struck out 13. He really had a great game, complete game. Elsewhere, Aiden Hunter only allowed 1 run on 4 hits, and he struck out 6 in 7 innings as College of Charleston beat Seton Hall 8-1. It's the 3rd straight win for Coach Chad Holbrook's Cougars. Caden Smith singled and homered and walked twice, and Charleston Southern run-ruled Manhattan for the 2nd straight day. Buccaneers are really doing some good things right now early in the season under new coach Carl Kuhn. The Citadel and Maine were tied at 2-2 in the top of the 9th, but a wild pitch gave Maine the lead, and the Black Bears added 3 more runs and beat the Bulldogs 6-2, and they clinched a series win. Bowling Green beat PC 11-4 in the One Spartanburg Inc. Classic. And Villanova jumped on Winthrop early for a 10-3 win, over Winthrop in that. In the Conference Carolinas, North Greenville had a couple of wins over UNC of Pembroke. They're now 5-1 in the conference. The Crusaders got a 16-7 win in Game 2. Game 1, I had to scroll up to it right quick because I'm having a brain cramp. Game 1 score was 4-3. Elsewhere in Conference Carolinas, Young Harris scored 7 runs in the 7th inning, and this is the final inning of Game 1. They wound up beating Erskine 12-6 in that game. But the Flying Fleet came back to win the second game 4-2. So they split that doubleheader. Young Harris won the series by 1. Francis Marion split a doubleheader with Barton. They won the opening game by the score of 9-1, and Barton came back to win Game 2, 8-7. The teams were tied at 5 going into the 9th. The Bulldogs scored 3 in the top of the 9th. The Patriots scored 2 in the bottom, but that was not enough for them to do it. Elsewhere, Mount Olive pitchers, they beat Southern Western twice. The Warriors were held to 10 hits for the 2 games. Mount Olive won the opener 5-3, and they took Game 2, 8-2 at Central. In South Atlanta, in Peach Belt Conference play, Lander had a big day. They hit 7 home runs. They had 34 hits, and they scored 32 runs. They beat Shawan 15-5 in Game 1. They beat the Braves 17-3 in Game 2. The Bearcats have now won, I believe it is 6 straight games that are going on. So they're playing well right now. In the South Atlanta, Augusta beat USC Beaufort in the Peach Belt Conference. That score was 8-6, holding them off. And also, USC Aiken pounded number 8 Indiana, Pennsylvania, 20-4 in game one of their doubleheader. But Indiana came back to win the second game 5-2. They'll play a fourth game of the series on Sunday. Right now, the Pacers are up 2-1. In the South Atlantic Conference, Anderson swept Mars Hill. They won the first game 6-2, the second game 4-3, and that gives them a series sweep over the Lions in that series. Also in the South Atlantic Conference, Carson Newman scored 7 runs in the ninth inning in game one, and then they had a great pitching duel in game two as the Eagles beat Newberry twice, 14-6 and 3-2. Colton Casson was the starting pitcher Colton Casson, starting pitcher for Carson Newman in game two. And Chanson Cole, who's really been pitching well for the Wolves as a freshman out of Boiling Springs High, pitched well, but he was not quite good enough. Again, Carson Newman takes those 2 games and they win the series 2-1. Catawba, which got run ruled by Limestone last night, won a pair over the Saints today. Game 1 was 11-5 and game 2 is 5-2 in favor of the Indians. Catawba coach Jim Gant got his 1,000th career win on the day. Moving over to junior college play, USC Union won a pair of games over USC Sumter. It's opening weekend for the region schedule, playing a 30-game region schedule this year in Region 10. The Bantams are now 8-0 overall, including 2-0 after in the region. They won the first game 9-1 over USC Sumter, 9-2, And in the second game is a seesaw affair. The Bantams fell behind 12-5. Then they tied it up. Sumter tied it up at the top of the ninth, and the Bantams got a walk-off run in the bottom of the ninth of game 2 to win it 15-14. Elsewhere in the junior college region 10, Florence Darlington Tech swept a doubleheader with Gaston. Gaston won the first game 8-2 to snap the Stingers' 5-game winning streak, but Florence Darlington Tech bounced back for an 8-4 win in game 2. They scored 3 runs late to put it away. Elsewhere, also in Region 10, USC Salkehatchie got its first win of the season. The Indians have dropped their first 11 games of the year, including a 9-1 loss to USC Lancaster in game 1. But Coach Jeremy Joy's Indians won the second game 5-2. They play a third game tomorrow. All these junior college series play a game 3 tomorrow on Sunday. Moving over to the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Benedict fell behind in both games against Lemoyne Owen, but they wound up scoring 14 runs in the 6th inning of game 1 to win 20-6. They fell behind big in game 1 in the first inning of game 2, and they also won that one going away 16-11. Don't have a box score on those games yet, but I'll be adding that when I can. Let's see, moving over to NAIA and National Christian College Athletic Schools. Parker Winfield hit 3 home runs and drove in 8 runs for Spartanburg Methodist in game 1 of a doubleheader against Cumberland. Unfortunately, Cumberland rallied late to win that game 13-12. And then Cumberland won game 2 also 14-6. Also in the NCAA or NAIA, Guilford scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th to win game 1 against Bob Jones, and they won by a more comfortable margin in game 2. Game 1 score was 6-5 in favor of the Quakers, and Guilford won game 2 8-3 over the Bruins, who've now lost 4 straight. Talladega scored in double figures in both games to beat Voorhees. They won the first game 12-2 in 8 innings. Game 2, it was 19-1 in the 7th inning, and the game never was listed as final. So I'm sure that the Tigers lost that second game, but we just don't know the final score. I'm going to assume it's 19-1. You know what happens when you assume things, though. Also, in Appalachian Athletic Conference play, Tennessee Wesleyan scored 10 runs in the first inning of game 2, and they wound up sweeping a doubleheader and the series against Columbia International. Game 1 score was 12-1 in 8 innings. Game 2 score was 25-0. That's correct, 25-0. Outside the borders, Maryland scored in all 9 innings, and they beat Western Carolina 35-12. And Maryland Eastern Shore broke a 55-game losing streak when they beat Towson in game 2 of a doubleheader on Saturday. Doing a quick look for the Sunday schedule. Let me find it right quick and call it up. I hope you've got a little bit of time. If you're listening to me this long, I know you do. And the schedule for Sunday includes, as I mentioned before, Clemson playing at 2 o'clock against North Carolina A&T in the Clemson Invitational. That game's preceded at 10 by A&T playing VCU. Elsewhere, South Carolina is at home against Milwaukee to close out their series. College of Charleston goes for a sweep against Seton Hall. Charleston Southern goes for a sweep against Manhattan. Again, these games are at home. Army is at Wofford as the Terriers try to get a third straight sweep. Charleston Southern is at home against Manhattan. The Citadel is at home against Maine. And USC Upstate and PC swap out foes for Sunday. Lemoyne will be at PC, and Bowling Green will be back at USC Upstate. Also, Villanova will be at Winthrop in another game involving Division I teams. Also, in other games, Emory and Henry will start a series at Coker at noon on Sunday. That game was supposed to be played up in Virginia, but the weather conditions, they prompted them to move it down to Hartsville. And even though Coker will be playing on its own field, Emory and Henry will be a home team for the whole tournament. USC Salkehatchie is at home against USC Lancaster in the finale of their Region 10 series. Barton is at Francis Marion. Shawan is at Lander. Cumberland is at Spartanburg Methodist. Gaston College is at Florence Darlington Tech. Indiana of Pennsylvania is against USC Aiken. Lemoyne-Owen is at Benedict. USC Beaufort is at Augusta. USC Sumter is at USC Union. Mount Olive is at Southern Wesleyan. In the Clemson, we have the Clemson Invitational and the Jacks College Baseball Classic. Coastal Carolina plays NC State at 2:30. That game will be preceded by Alabama playing Ohio at 11. That's in Jacksonville. The Chanticleers are 1-1 down there right now. And that is the look at the Sunday schedule. I've got these scores, details, and schedules at PalmettoStateBaseball.com. I'll be doing more coverage tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, and pick a team of the week and things like that. And I just hope that if you enjoy my coverage of PalmettoStateBaseball.com, covering games, scores, notes, whatever, please let me know. And let me know what you think I can do better. For now, this is Rudy Jones. It's a little bit after 11 o'clock on Saturday night. I'm going to be signing off saying, Sunday will be a beautiful day for baseball. Let's play too.